Gabriel Mugwana. Gabriel Mugwana is an experienced financial professional with a proven track record in enterprise development. He has collaborated with banks on a successful project. He has played a pivotal role in incubating 100 companies across the whole South Africa. As we speak, Gabriel focuses on facilitating business finance for companies that have secured procurement opportunities, helping them thrive in a competitive landscape. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Gabriel Mugwana.
Sorry.
Mr. Mugwana.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Thank you. Where can I stand?
Anywhere.
Can I stand? Can I stand here?
Anywhere.
Am I okay? Good morning, everybody. Dumelang le kae?
Okay.
Gabriel Mugwana. I'd like to start off by greeting the event organizers. Can you really say the people behind the visionary corner? Can you really say all the guest speakers? Can you really say all the attendants of Felaba Tendini? Can you really say Haholo, Ketamai Kedimon, Ketamai Musaniwaka, and my business partner. Musani, you're not coming to I'm also with my business partner, Mr. Mzamunyakaza, at the back. So I before Ketamo, actually yesterday I prepared like a small presentation. It's in my laptop. But I thought, as I walked in, I thought, you know what? It's more of an engagement, just on an introductory basis, so we can engage. I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of information in terms of what I've had prepared. So in a nutshell, I'm just going to give you a bit of my background, Tomani, Kitakai, and where I'm heading. And I think the topic that I just want to touch on today is the mistake most entrepreneurs make on the journey, to success. So I started off, a few years ago, I was exactly sitting here, I was also young and ambitious, and I had a dream and a vision to say, one day I want to sort of venture into, to a business, So my story started back in 2012, 2013, just after I matriculated. Being a very ambitious young man, I always used to tell my mom and my late mom, well, when I grow up, I want to go into business. So, our parents do not understand entrepreneurship. Even if you want to tell them, actually, that's what we call a business, and then you open a business after, So, I think it also speaks to the fact that, we're coming from black families, and not a lot of them are familiar being treated as business. I understand. So just immediately after I graduated, went to college, and within maybe the first six months of college, I then decided to like a small construction company, and stuff like that. So luckily now, I did that. I went through, opened up a company, then you lose some money, then you realize that business is not sustainable, then we are high, because Mewaha is like, yes, and you're like, oh my god, okay, let me just go back to school, then you enroll, but there's always this urge and this drive inside of you to sort of, make it, or just, to go into business, basically. So fast forward, 2015, now back at school, went and enrolled at Roosevelt College for a business course for a year, and then I completed it. Then while I was still at school, because of my ambition, I then, lucky for me by that time, there was this whole training of schools called one. And I then thought, I think this is the perfect chance for me to come come up with an initiative to help, people that are affected by the banning of schools and libraries. Then I came up with a great idea, and it was on one book campaign. So I went to the likes of the Daily Sun, for ACBC, guys, an article here. I want to donate books for people who have been affected by the strike, and I mean the support was overwhelming. And I think after the article was written in Daily Sun, then ACBC heard about it. They called me ACBC. They had an interview, and the whole country was up in arms. I was like so excited about this young man. I think by the time I was like 22, 23, around that time, and everybody was excited. Like, oh, this guy is such a smart guy. People are calling me to say we want to donate and help him. School. So fast forward, we managed to then successfully build around 3 libraries actually in Limpopo, and which I think was a huge milestone. So after that, thank you so much. Thank you. You can clap. It's fine. So then after that, coming back now, the thing is, when you have a drive, when you want to do something, this thing never ends, regardless of, it's like after you reach a certain milestone, it's like, okay, now I'm here, now what's next? So then what was next after that is, by the way, I'm done with this project, I'm done with this whole, building of libraries. Now I'm back at home. The business is a bit slow. My mom is on my ear. School. I'm 17. I'm sitting. I'm just like, I want to sort of do something. And then I read a book. Then I think this book is a book that changed my life. The book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I remember I asked my mom to make copies in Semitimwahari because this book was quite expensive. So I asked her, after 78, like 18 pages, so on. Then she did that for me, and I had this book. So when I read this book, it sort of changed my life. And up until today, I still advocate, and I still tell people to read. Now, there's this notion now that when you want to hide something from a bad person, put it inside of a book. If you want to buy that check, you gotta book and you sit there. Because nobody's gonna get it. Because we don't read. So when I started sort of familiarizing myself with the concept and looking at motivational speakers, and everybody used to talk about reading. Then I read this book. And reading this book, then I came up with an idea. So I picked up an idea, and one of the ideas I'm going to share with you in this book, there's a part where Napoleon Hill narrates the story of the radio of tomorrow. So meaning, there's a certain type of radio. So when you listen to radio now, you consume music, you consume, this content. And then specifically he was talking about the type of radio that consumes listeners to bias. So then that thing stuck with me. Then I thought, okay, how can I come up with an idea that would want to make people, when they're listening on the radio, they can buy into that and pretend into something. So by that time I was still living in the van. Then an idea sparked. So I was like, I'm going to approach a community radio station, and I want to propose a program. So the program was there because I was very much passionate about entrepreneurship and development of young people. And then came up with this idea, and I pitched it to radio. I'll never forget it. So when I got there to listen to that, I was like, 30 minutes. So what I want to do, I don't have this vision clearly, but what I think I want to do is I want to come up with a program that into what they're listening into. And the best way to go about that is to get young people into a room, and they pitch their ideas on radio, and the people that are listening, Baba Mamet in High, Bahona, who invest into those ideas. I was like, that's quite a smart one. And it's like, okay, let's just try it out. And it's for 30 minutes on the slot. But if you want to come on radio, you want to sell something, you need to be able to be sponsored at the show, because airtime is expensive. By that time, if you want to money with the previous company, there's a company there's a a funeral company that is operating in the Val called Funeral Solutions. So Funeral Solutions, they basically funeral, burial, and they're quite big in the Val. So I approached that woman and listen, that people are auto chooser. I can actually, I just only have a vision. And my vision or my plan is to sort of invite young people and put them into a 10 minutes or 5 minutes high pitch on radio. Then Bahunu pitches our 12 minutes in high or hello, can I tabo, can you say orange, go balance up again, you understand? So I need you to come and brand the show. So that when the show starts, the show is probably brought to you by Funeral Solutions. Anyway, so the man got you to the idea and I got that. He said he will assist and I got back to the radio station and then we had a whole setup. Now I realize in the whole setup, run shut down. Because when I invite the people inside to come and pitch or do a high level pitch on radio, like judges, correct? Then I then called the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller 1%, and I went to call NYDA to come and one hour on radio. So it was like a whole interactive thing. And once a week, the name of the show was The Mind of Tomorrow. So the fast forward there, and then I got a call. NetBank heard about this thing on radio. This is where now my collaboration with banks comes in. The NetBank heard about this thing on radio, and then they brought into the idea, and then we went into business. So to cut the whole story short, the business was then from that idea. I had a whole book. It then sparked this whole idea of banks listening to this beautiful idea, and then they said, how about we convert this from being a radio to becoming a physical incubation? So incubation then would mean that you would then go into the whole province of South Africa and identify young people and come up with programs. So we would have you guys like this inside of a room, and then we have like maybe 5 facilitators who come and teach you how to run your business, how to file your statements, your VAT returns, your compliance in terms of business. And then we take you in for a period of 6 to 12 months, and then when you leave the program, you will then go into the physical business. They will look for opportunities for you. If you're in construction, after you're done, you will be sort of mentored by Marion Roberts. If you are in, so we have those sort of programs. And it then concurrently from 2017 until 2020. And I would say that it really changed my life. Now, being a young person, this is where I'm going. Being a young person, I made my first million at the age of 23, right? And I lost everything, maybe at the age of 26, 27. I lost the millions. We made the millions, and we lost the millions. Now, I'm not coming here as a person that chances. I'm not coming here as a person that chances. I'm coming here as a person that has walked the journey. I know how it's like to be young, I know how it's like to be ambitious, I know how it's like to have money, and I know how it's like to lose money. And the advantages of having people like us is so we can show you the mistakes that people do the minute so the minute that the success comes, which is going to come, it needs to come with a certain level of discipline. Now, how I managed to get to a place where I was at first is I invested in coaching, a business coach, and then I got a mentor. Of course, if you're going far, you need to go with someone. Correct? Now, after this whole incubation thing has ended, now remember, we've made so much money. NetBank, ABSA, Standard Bank, we've been working with them, and being young, I've made the money by that time. Then after that, I ventured into another business, which is Siasida Business Fund, but that's a conversation for another day. Here's what, in a nutshell, what I want to tell you. The minute you start getting money, you see, the minute you start getting money, we start changing, which money is able to change you, of course. But there's a notion, even before we get to that, there's a notion now with entrepreneurship, in as much as we preach it. It does not mean you'll always be, how should I put it? You'll not always have money. So, when you see the lifestyle on social media, you think already. You wake up in the morning and you just have R1 million and then that's how it goes, right? So, you need to understand that when you get to a certain level in your business, you need to adjust and do things differently. Some of us, by that time, when we got to that specific level, we did not do things accordingly. Because you think the business and your personal account is the same thing. You run the business with your personal account, you try to cut your business in, what's a my Konga, why swiper, what's a my Gucci, why swiper. At the end of the day, what do you end up doing? You end up losing it all. So, in order for you to narrate or to be able to make it out of this to make it out, to break out once you have reached that level, is for you to maintain discipline, right? And discipline is not something we always talk about. If Machita, gents, the main cause or the main problem which we've seen with gents is the minute they start making money, they start changing women, and they start, drinking expensive alcohol and stuff like that, right? I used to drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol anymore. For personal reasons, though, right? Because I've seen some people, consumption, some people, they can't manage their consumption. And some people can manage the consumption, right? But the discipline which you learn from being an entrepreneur, the most important thing which you must have is discipline. That's number one. And the second thing, which is most important, which everybody ought to have, is for people to be teachable and for people to continue reading. You can never run a business. You can absolutely never run a business if you are uninformed. You need to be informed about what's happening in the country. You need to be constantly informed on how to grow and innovate in the business. So the minute you get to a point where I want to, say for instance, you want to open up a beauty shop, but you don't know how it is like to run a beauty shop. You don't know what it takes to run a business shop. What I would then encourage people, knowing what I know now, is for them to never stop studying. Let me tell you a short story before I close. A couple of years ago, I once went to this man. I heard about this man. This man was quite successful, very much successful, and my wife can testify on this. So this man, right? So I wanted to go pitch an idea because I needed like 10 million to be put in the business to come and invest. And this man had all the potential and all the money. So he called me and said, "No, it's fine. Come to the office." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. I'm going to come to your office. I'm fine, come, right?" When I got there, I'm wearing suit, I'm wearing a watch, I'm looking nice. I'm like, this guy, I'm going to impress. And when I walk out of it, course, you're also taught the principle you have to dress a certain way in order for you to attract money, which 80% is true, but there's still something else on the leg. Anyway, I go to this guy's office, very big. His assistant comes down and says, "Hello, Mr. Gabriel. Mr. Chinana upstairs is waiting for me. So can you please make your way upstairs?" I take my laptop, I take my notepad, and I go upstairs. So when I get upstairs, he's in his office, very beautiful office. He says, "No, sit down." I go and I sit down. And then he says, "Are you alone?" I said, "Yes, I'm alone." He says, "Oh, okay." He says, "I'm with my accountant." I said, "Oh, okay, that's nice and cool." Then we sit down and we say, "Okay, what do you want to talk about?" I tell him, "Listen, I want money." He said, "How much money do you want?" I said, "I want 10 million." He said, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Give me your financials. Do you have your financials with you there?" I said, "Yeah, I have my financials." He says, "Oh, okay, that's nice. Open them up. You guys have heard of financial statements, right? Or you guys know about it. And people tell you about it, right? Every time, okay? Now, this is where it came into play. Now he says to me, open up your financial statements. And because I have a copy of those financial statements, I want you to go to page 3 of it, to the income and expenses. And I want you to speak to it. So meaning, explain what is there to me so that it makes sense. Remember, we have appointed, as businessmen, we have appointed people to carry out our financials and do our financial reporting, right? He says, "No, speak to it." And then if you speak to it proper, before you leave here, I'll write, my accountant is here, we'll write the check and we'll give it to you and you'll go. You say, "Okay, open. Okay, I want it, it's interesting." They're not, okay, so we're looking here, income, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to explain, it doesn't make sense. He's asking me, why 2020 and 2021, there's a decrease here, what is happening here? I said, okay, here, go down, explain this column, explain that, explain it. And then after that he says, after explaining, maybe after 10 minutes of going back and forth, he says, close the laptop. I close the laptop and he said, I'm going to give you one advice. And if you take this advice and you use it, you're going to be very successful in life. If you don't take this advice, you're going to be stagnant in life. He says, you cannot run a business and then you claim you can't interpret your own financial statements. So if you don't know your business, how am I supposed to trust you with your money, with my money? And also, how is it that you are running a business but you've never taken a financial course? But you say you're running a business. So how am I then supposed to trust you with my money if you yourself, you don't know what's happening? And I'm going to give you advice. Go and register, maybe for a 4 or 5 months course, short course on financial management, and then come back. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because we need to break down this notion of education is not important. Education is important, more especially in the running of business. Because next time somebody is going to ask you the same question, if you want me to put money into your business, give me your financials here, and you must be able to speak to it. Because you must be able to know what's happening in your business from start to finish. So I'm going to close here. My closing statement is this: you guys are you're at an advanced stage. You have an advantage. You know what the advantage is? Is that age is on your side. So you are able to then make mistakes and then rectify those mistakes and be able to bounce back. It's very hard for us. That's the it's a little bit low. It's 31. Like 31. We're old now. Yeah. 31, we're 4 kids and a wife. I'm old now. I've done the mistakes. I know how it's like to have money, to record for pass and all of those things, and live incentive and all of those, we've made those things. But one thing I want to tell you guys, go ahead. You have age on your side, and you still have time to learn, right? Let us not be too quick. Let us not be too quick to be charmed by what we see on social media and life about you. Because, many times you think over what you want about one hour, if you want to build a solid business, you need to start from scratch. Unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. How a shortcut? You need to work the crowd. It means that if you're selling a product, you need to become an employee in your own business. How do you sell work? If you are starting a project or product, what you want to do, you need to start from scratch. So that even when everything fails, where you have yourself and your knowledge to depend on. Hallelujah. So with that being said, I really hope, and I'm really excited to see young people, because I was once here, and I know how energetic it is. You guys can do anything you put your mind to, and absolutely everything, because I was once here, and I know how it feels like. I know the energy. As long as you have the drive and the discipline. And again, Majita, I want to talk to you guys. You know what the biggest downfall is for us gents is women. Also women. So if you think, and I'm saying this now from a genuine place, I'm telling you this, and it's a secret for success. If your things are not okay, focus on your life to get your life in check, and then once it's done, then you will do it. Because guess what? How long will you do? Ujola how failing, Bashimana our failing, Banyana our failing, Maranaboyatama. Nako, ya tama. So I really hope for it. You've taken this advice that I've given you, and also on another note, I'm going to give just 5 minutes if you can, just so I can also do an introduction. We work together in the same industry, and we and then got to a point where we invest in businesses. We work and we collaborate, and we put in a lot of money. And we put in. He's raised over 200 million in the past years. He's also done quite an amazing job. So I just also want him just to come and share just shortly his story, where he's going, and just also a message, so that you guys can also be on the right path. And then also, guys, my beautiful wife is an author of a book. Her book is "And When You Pray Tonight." She's an influential person, both on Twitter, Instagram, and she has over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, and she's also running a business. So I also want you guys to clap hands for her. Thank you.
All right, one more time for Mr. Mukwana. Mukwana. Okay, Mr. Say here has a few minutes.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Raoni Ataza. I work with Mr. Mukwana on a number of projects and done projects in Ghana. I'm going to be short and sweet. I think a lot of things have been said, and I'm going to repeat a bit of them, especially about flashiness. I read that I think at Anquata, the richest man in Africa, they asked him, what is it that you spend your biggest expense for your toy, for your pleasure? And he said, the biggest expense I have done was my private jet. And it cost me $50 million. Now, $50 million may sound like a big number, a billion rand almost. But the man is with $23 billion. That's 460 billion rand. And he only spent $1 billion. But what do we do? You get your first 3 million, and you go buy 2 million rand car. That's 66%. Huh? So I don't know how you're gonna run the business because you don't have money. Your money is in the car, all right? Unless it maybe this car is to sell some sort of perception. But I wouldn't trust you with my money. And we get that. We get a lot of our clients, and very flashy people, very flashy, and you're like, hey, this guy, I'm gonna give him 5 million, and the next thing you see me posting there, got diamond walk. What about the project? So I think those are the things that we need to understand, and I think those are the things that are really killing our business and killing our growth, because we're not patient. Patience is very, very important, and you will grow. Just be disciplined and be patient. I'm going to just close, as I said, I'm going to be short and sweet, with one little story about a wise man and a little boy. And this wise man picks a butterfly in his hand, and this boy asks this wise man, is this butterfly alive? This boy had the butterfly in his hand and came to this wise man. He asked this wise man, is this butterfly in my hand dead or alive? And this boy was thinking that I'm going to play this wise man, because if he says the butterfly is dead, he's gonna release his hand and the butterfly will fly away. If he says the butterfly is alive, he's going to squeeze his hand and the butterfly is going to be there. So there's no way he's going to get it right. Right? And then there's this white man, he looks at the boy and he says, young man, the life and death of that butterfly is in your hands. So what I'm trying to say is this, the future, your future, and how your success and what you're going to build is in your hands. Thank you very much.